We may have something real to talk about, real games actually in the present day coming up soon, because there's a lot of buzz and a whole lot of rumors swirling around. As you know, a return feels maybe not even just possible, but imminent. As all things are pointing towards Orlando using the ESPN Worldwide Sports complex. We want to have some fun, though, debating the different formats the league could take on. But before we do that, let's work through some of the logistics and hurdles here, Perk. Taking everything into account, let's start with this. How many teams do you think should be reporting to campus in Orlando when, in fact, the season resumes?
16 teams. The 16 teams that were already in the playoffs before the pandemic. Because we all know, like, the more people, the higher the risk, right? And here's the problem that I have, right? Yes, that's one problem, but okay, so what if they bring back all 30 teams and say the Lakers end up playing the Atlanta Hawks and someone on the Atlanta Hawks catch the virus? All right, well, the Atlanta Hawks are not going to the playoffs anyway, so the guy who catches the virus, he's going home anyway early, but then they could pass it along to someone on the Lakers that's going to the playoffs and possibly, I mean, number one is help, but possibly could hurt them from winning the title. So I'm just thinking, like, the other 14 teams will really just be in the way. So bring the 16 teams that were already in the playoffs before the pandemic and the 14 other teams, you got more than enough time to sit at home and reevaluate yourselves and get your things back in order and take winning more seriously in the regular season. And that way you could make the playoffs next year.
So no regular season games?
Yeah, you got to have regular season games, but I would call them tune-up games, because you got to have, like, you got to at least have 10 games, at least 10 in my opinion, because taking like 2 months off away from the game of basketball and then trying to come back, like, no, you got to have games. In order to get in basketball shape, you got to play basketball, and you got to play games so guys can get their legs up on them, get their rhythm back, get the flow of the game, the feel, everything, so you can have a good playoffs. Like, you can't just come in training camp and jump into the playoffs. That's not going to happen. Give them a couple tune-up games. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I'm with Perk in that we know if we're going to do this from the sake of safety, then we know the safest thing is to not play at all. But I get it. There's a lot of money on the line, so we got to play games, at least these playoff games where it's estimated $900 million in revenue right there. Woo! So the next thing you say, all right, 16 teams, 24 teams, 30 teams, what's the right number? I think beyond just what Perk just said, in that the more teams you have, the harder it is to ensure that everybody is going to be following protocol, and we're all going to be doing this in the safest way possible. There's that, but also if it's anything less than 30, where do we draw the line? People saying 24 teams. Which 24? Who are the ones that are getting in and who are the ones that are getting out? And to me, that's an arbitrary line that you're drawing in the sand, because really, realistically, we're doing this from a basketball standpoint for 4 teams: Sacramento, Portland, San Antonio, New Orleans. They're the ones who, oh man, we would have made the playoffs if we had a full season. Everybody else, Minnesota ain't caring about this. Phoenix, Golden State, Atlanta, New York, even Washington, who's the 9 seed in the East, knows, guys, we're not making the playoffs, even if y'all gave us a full 82. So we're only doing this for 4 teams who, yes, it's unfortunate, but like Perk said, next time do better in the regular season. Next time don't fall behind by as much. And that takes me to the next place, which is, again, if we want to do this thing safely, like, we have to be, it's like if you have a table at a club, it's your birthday, you got a table, they're going to give you 10 names you can put on the list.
Right.
Sadly, someone's not going to get in this party. Man, what happened, man? They cut me off at 10. They said you got to pay cover or whatever. It's the same thing here. Our list is 16. We got to cut it off at 16. Now, I'm also with Perk. Like, I don't think we need regular season games, but we do need tune-up games, exhibition games, scrimmages, whatever you want to call it. We need some of those right there.
So it'll only be between those 16 teams. So that's all you can scrimmage it for.
to me, ideally, we would make opponents of people that you probably ain't gonna see. So Clippers, Nets,
Right.
right? Lakers
Those
versus
won't
Orlando.
impact the seeding. But those won't impact
No.
the seeding.
These games don't count for anything other than getting guys in shape and getting in game shape. And we got refs and we got a scoreboard, and we'll treat it like a preseason game, basically. The big difference is, a lot of people might be rolling their eyes and say preseason. The Stars never care about that, or they don't play in those, or they might play a couple minutes here and there. The big difference between a regular preseason game and this is, in a regular preseason game, your stars are already in shape, and they know we got 82 games right after these inconsequential games happen. In this case here, you got players who are out of shape. So they all want to get back in shape. That's a very real thing. And also knowing that the games that we play after this are going to be very important because they're playoff games. They're not regular season games. So I think we'll get buy-in and we'll get great participation.
While we're on the topic of experimenting, I want to finish up this conversation with just, there hasn't really been a plan laid out on what they're going to do when / if a player tests positive. The conversations right now are, that if someone tests positive, the league's not going to shut down. Like, that's kind of like the baseline. But then how do you treat the people in and around whoever tests positive? And then I also want to know, how are they going to deal with superstar players, compared to role players? Like, is there going to be a situation like, say, I don't know, say on the Lakers, no offense to our guy Jared Dudley, I don't know why he pops in my head, but say Jared Dudley, tests positive and he had lunch with LeBron James, and the Lakers can't compete for a championship because of that. And then Jared Dudley gets blamed for the Lakers not winning the championship. There's just so many. I mean, I'm not trying to play doomsday, but we haven't even, taken a first step in understanding how they're going to deal with the possible spread of this very contagious virus.
Well, I have a question to your question, right? So my thing is that I feel like how are we going to know if they even testing guys? Like, if you're not feeling sick, guys are not going to sit up here and go tell on themselves. Like, guys are not going to say, hey.
Well, they're going to be taking temperatures. So what I'm hearing and understanding from sources around the league is that they're planning on doing testing daily and temperature checks. But, there's time in between where you get tested and when you find out the results, where you can get infected, especially when you're dealing with a contact sport. That's my issue.
Listen, Cass, I'm with you. I just cannot wrap my mind around to say that if LeBron James want to walk out of the practice facility without taking a test because he don't feel
good, another thing,
that the trainer or training staff from the Lakers are going to stop him and say, hey, LeBron, come take it. No, that's not happening. So we're not, we're not going to even know if guys are even getting tested. Like, unless they are sick or feeling down, like, guys are not going to, like, at the end of the day, we all know, like, I don't know. I just see it, unless a guy is, like, really feeling bad, I could see them, like, maneuvering around it. It's just me.